From torn tendons to broken hands, some athletes just never recover after getting hurt. These are the NBA players who were never the same after injuries. For most people, a broken hand or wrist wouldn't mean the end of their career. But when you're a top-level athlete, you've got to be careful. You need to always be on your A game. Any compromised body part could be career-ending. The NBA is a grueling sport, and injuries are an unfortunate reality for many players. They have the best doctors and healthcare that money can buy, so most recover. But sometimes a player is never the same. Victor Oladipo was a rising star in the NBA. That was until he suffered a serious knee injury. Unfortunately for Oladipo, this injury will have a significant impact on his career. It happened during a game with the Toronto Raptors back in 2019. He tore his right quadricep tendon, which required surgery. This meant he missed the majority of the 2019 season. That wasn't all, though. Since then, Oladipo has struggled to regain his form. Before the injury, Oladipo was a two-time All-Star and Most Improved Player of 2018. But afterwards, he was never able to replicate his success. A quadriceps injury can have serious consequences for any athlete's career. It can impact your speed, explosiveness, and agility. These are all critical in basketball. Since being traded to the Miami Heat in 2021, he's continued to struggle. His right knee injury meant he'd only played in a handful of games. It's quite common for injuries like this to take a while to heal. And even though it's been almost 4 years, he's got to be careful. He's not the only Miami Heat player currently injured. There's also Tyler Herro. Herro burst onto the scene during his rookie season of 2019-2020. He was a critical player in the Heat's run to the NBA Finals. Since then, he's established himself as a rising star. However, in a recent game against the Milwaukee Bucks, he broke his right hand. He too had to have surgery and missed the end of the season. As you can imagine, breaking your hand in basketball is not good, especially for Herro, who relies on his ball handling and shooting skills. His injury is a huge blow to the Heat's chances in the 2023 season. They'll have to rely on other players to get the win. Herro is still young, so he may recover, but in the short term, he's going to have to sit out. Next, we've got Blake Griffin. If you don't know, Griffin came onto the scene in 2010, following an impressive college career. Known for his explosive dunks and athleticism, he quickly became known as one of the most exciting and dynamic players of the season, especially known for his explosive dunks and athleticism. However, during the 2016-2017 season, Griffin suffered a major injury, a sprained MCL in his left knee. This required surgery and forced him to miss the rest of the season. Oh, Griffin, we can almost feel your pain. Despite coming back the next season, Griffin was never the same player. Yeah, I'm not surprised either. His explosiveness was diminished, but he still somehow managed to be a productive player for several seasons. Next up is Derrick Rose. The former Chicago Bulls and New York Knicks point guard, Rose was the youngest player in NBA history to win the MVP award in 2011. Unfortunately, in 2012, he suffered a torn ACL. Ouch! Which kept him out of the entire 2012-2013 season. While Rose was able to come back, he never regained his explosive athleticism and struggled with injuries for the rest of his career. Poor guy. However, he continued to be a valuable player and even won the Sixth Man of the Year award in the 2018-2019 season. Hats off to you, Rose. Another player who suffered a devastating injury is Gordon Hayward, the small forward for the Boston Celtics. In 2017, Hayward signed a 4-year, $128 million contract with the Celtics. You heard right. But suffered a gruesome injury. Just 5 minutes into his first game with the team, for real, he suffered a dislocated ankle and a fractured tibia. Sounds nasty. He was forced to miss the entire 2017-2018 season. While Hayward returned to the court, he was never the same player. No surprise, really, and struggled with injuries and inconsistencies. You did the best you could, Hayward. Moving swiftly onto Lonzo Ball. He's the point guard for the New Orleans Pelicans. Ball suffered a severe ankle sprain during his rookie season with the Los Angeles Lakers. The injury caused him to miss several games, and even affected his ability to move and cut on the court. Oh man! However, Ball was able to recover and continue playing, although he still struggles with ankle injuries from time to time. Finally, we have the youngest player on our list, who is also Lonzo's younger brother, LaMelo Ball. His NBA career has just begun, which is certainly not the time to have a serious injury. Unfortunately for him, this injury could potentially affect his long-term prospects. LaMelo began his career only a couple of years ago. His debut came in the 2020-2021 season with the Charlotte Hornets. Following a successful stint in Australia's National Basketball League, he quickly established himself as an exciting young player. He's got great playmaking ability and impressive court vision. He was widely considered the leading candidate in the NBA's Rookie of the Year awards. However, his rookie season was cut short. Ball, who was only 19 at the time, would suffer a serious wrist injury. It happened when he fell during a 125-98 loss to the Clippers in Los Angeles. He said at first he thought it was only a sprain. He continued playing and decided to ignore it for the time being. Despite it constantly annoying him, he didn't want to believe it was broken. To his dismay, he would later find out it was broken. The injury happened in March of that year, and LaMelo was ruled out indefinitely. However, he rebounded, and in May he returned. He managed to win his return game and still earned the title of Rookie of the Year. What a comeback story! Although he's young and seems to have recovered quickly, an injury like this can have serious long-term consequences, especially for a player who relies so heavily on shooting. Wrist injuries can be tricky to recover from, and there's always the risk of re-injury. LaMelo said he hated being on the sidelines and was glad he made such a swift recovery. All seemed well for a while, but unfortunately for him, it wouldn't be the last time he received a career-threatening injury. 2 years later, on February 27, 2023, he would suffer another injury against Detroit. This time, it was his ankle. During the game, Ball attempted a crossover dribble against Killian Hayes. When he stepped back, he landed awkwardly on his foot. He immediately hit the ground and was clearly in a lot of pain. His team had to help him off the court. He had sprained his left ankle before in 2020, and that left him out of play for 13 games. This time was worse. He didn't sprain it, he fractured it. A sprain is bad, but usually not career-ending. Fractures, though, can have long-term consequences. They require a lengthy period of recovery, and this time, Ball may have missed a lot longer than 13 games. Things aren't looking good for the former Rookie of the Year. He's only 21, and his short career could be in danger. One injury is bad, but 3 could mean big trouble. A fractured wrist, a sprained left ankle, and now a fractured right ankle? When asked about his ankle, his coach made light of the situation, saying it's just a basketball ankle, so there's nothing you can do about it. He seems to be able to recover quickly, so we'll see if he keeps that up this time. So, if nothing else, this video proves the NBA is a rough sport with a lot of risks. All of the injuries mentioned have been fairly recent, so it's too early to know the real impact. Many players have had their careers cut short due to injuries, and it's every athlete's worst nightmare. We hope you enjoyed the video, and be sure to let us know what you think. Will these guys recover, or will their careers be forever jeopardized? Only time will tell.